going on? This is About That Time with Jordan McDuff, and I am drinking a nice rosé that my wife got me, and you'll learn about the fact that I'm married because I have a watch about that too, but it's not about this video, so too bad. This rosé is awesome, and we're about to get into the watch that I chose today, which is over there, but you can't see it, so haha. All right, today's watch is a Fossil, and I know, I recognize the hilarity of a man that's a watch guy talking about a Fossil, but to my credit, it is the first watch that I ever purchased that was over $100. And this is it. It is the Fossil, whatever the frick, I don't know what it is, and I will put all the information right here. I don't know where it is on the screen, but it's there, I promise. But the reason why I like this watch so much is because of the actual octagon glass. I thought it reflected light very awesome. And I saw it, I thought of Batman. I was a big Batman fan when I was a kid. And I thought, man, that's an awesome watch. I'm going to buy that. Turns out, and this watch will be relevant in a second in the story, but it turns out that this watch is actually pretty rare to find. And it took me a little bit of searching. I found one on eBay. So I got it on eBay, and I'll explain why I had to buy it on eBay here in a second. So I bought it at TJ Maxx for about $120. And that was a big buy for me because I had just gotten my first job really working as a 3D printer technician. And I had finally gotten to the point where I was actually making pretty good money. And I was like, I'm gonna buy a watch. I don't have a watch anymore because, well, I have one watch and it's really nice. So I wanted to wear something that was kind of a, not really a beat around watch, but something that I was kind of proud of that I could wear daily without it being something so emotionally connected like God's watch is. And if you don't know anything about God's watch, feel free to watch the other video about God's watch because that's really the beginning of the video, and it's a really great starter to this series. It really helps understand why my watches are so important, even though they're not exactly the most expensive watches that exist. So that is a really awesome video to start this series off. But if not, if you're just joining us for the first time, fantastic. I have nowhere else to go. If you're just joining us for the first time, fantastic. We're talking about this Fossil watch here. And so, this watch right here, I bought it for $120 at TJ Maxx. And I remember I was with my mom. Mom was like, you spent $120 on a watch? And to me, that was a lot of money. And to my mom, that was also a lot of money. And I'm pretty well off as a family. Our family's pretty decently well off, but we never spent that kind of money on watches, like ever. We're like high middle class. So this watch was my first real watch purchase. The other one I spent like $50 on, but this one right here was my first over $100 watch. And to me, it was the nicest watch I ever had. I took several photos with it. I loved it so much. I love the design. I love the mystique of it. I love just black. I've always had just kind of a black design from like 2 years ago up until like this point. When I was a kid, I just wore just jeans and a black shirt. I mean, it was just like, that was my uniform. I wore that every day, and it was awesome. So tragedy happened. I went to the military, and I got hurt. And that's a different story for a different time. But I came back, and I sold my race car at the time and got myself this big F-350 truck. Just big truck. It was a dually F-350, long bed, crew cab, awesomeness. And it was just one of the greatest trucks I ever had. It was 2003. It only had 100,000 miles on it. It was fantastic. I drove the thing everywhere. And so I got to the point where I was trying to get that insurance money, right? And I had lost my job. I was in the military. I lost my job, and I was in between jobs. So I thought, hey, I'll just be a Hellsberg Diamond sales guy. And I live right by the mall, so I thought, heck yeah, man, I would just be a sales guy, just dress up every day and be posh and not have to worry about anything. And at the time, I had a few watches. I had I have a few things, including like some smart watches and things like that. So I decided that, hey, that's the kind of job for me. So I was wearing it to work one day. I had second thoughts. I had watch second thoughts, and that's the kind of thoughts that I have about watches. Is when I get up, I put a watch on, and I think, this watch is not what I'm feeling today. Like, who does that? I do, and several watch people do, and I know that the people that are watching this are going to appreciate that thought, and that's the best part about this. And so I put on another watch, and I was like, this watch is better. This is what I need, right? So the Fossil was in my truck, and it was gone. So I was at work, and my truck was stolen. It was stolen. My truck was stolen. I remember walking out. My girlfriend at the time worked at the mall. So I was like, oh my gosh. We walked outside and my truck was not there. And this watch was in it. No doubt. And so then, this is the worst weekend of my life. This is a true story. My girlfriend cheated on me at the time. Thumbs up for that. Am I right? Cheated on me. We broke up after a very, very difficult conversation. And then my dog ran away, and then my entire house flooded. Not a joke. My entire house flooded. I ended up cutting my finger open while sharpening my knife. And, let's see, dog ran away, truck got stolen, girlfriend ran away, cut my thumb open, flooded house. Oh, and then I woke up, and there was a pipe loose, and it was the air conditioning exhaust. So I had filled my room with CO2 and nearly died from a CO2 leak. Oh man. So I am like just recently getting over this weekend. So things were difficult back then, no doubt. Things were really difficult. And one of the hardest things that I realized, that I had my Bible in there from when I was about 13. I bought a teen Bible, and I had that thing forever. And I actually wrote notes to my son inside of that Bible, and intending on giving him that Bible when I got older, and that I intended on giving him that Bible when I got older. And when I had a kid, I was intending on giving him that Bible. I had all kinds of stuff, photography equipment. I had freaking I had an entire drum set that was worth over $10,000 that I was transporting. Gosh, I'm just like reliving all of this stuff. And so now I am driving a Honda Accord. I am married, and I have this awesome wife, and I have no kids yet, but I have this awesome wife, and I'm doing all right for myself, you know? I've got a great job, and I'm going to college and all these other things. But I re-bought this watch because this is one of the first watches that I ever purchased with my own real money that I didn't have to borrow from my dad. And it was a very successful trip, if I do say so myself. So looking back on those times, I think about that weekend, not so often, but every once in a while I will. And I think about the suffering that I went through in that time. And I remember missing this watch. I really do. And what's amazing to me, right, is that in the time spans on this watch, the hands move around, obviously. And it's amazing how much history is captured while you have a watch on your wrist. It's amazing how much time is captured while things are moving and keeping on, and just keep moving on, and kind of in a way leaving you behind, right? And time has this way of just continuing on and never stopping, right? And we love to just cram time. We love to cram all that we can into it. But the reality is that this watch right here represents a lot of suffering in my life, because this watch isn't the original, right? But I went from a time where I was okay. I went from a time where I was doing good in my life, and then bad after bad after bad after bad, to the point where I was gone. All of the good that I had built up was gone. And now I'm stuck with a memory, an idea. And I could take that memory and I could put it away in a watch box and never wear it. Or I can appreciate what it did for me. And I can appreciate what that time meant in my life, and how I'm going to pick myself up and grow from it. And these are the things that I look at watches for. These are the things that I collect watches for. I don't buy something just so I can wear it. I don't buy something to make me look awesome. That's my original thought. But as I live my life, it becomes secondary. It becomes second, right? And if a watch means nothing to you, make that watch meaningful by giving it to someone else. Give that watch beauty. Beauty that you won't appreciate, but somebody else will. Give it away. Give that love away, right? You love it. Somebody else will love it too if you don't appreciate it. And that's my philosophy, you know? So that's the story behind this watch, and I hope you really appreciated it. The time is 5:16, and I am about to go outside and enjoy some rosé and watch some TV and take this monkey suit off and finally get some rest, because I can rest, because time continues on and life is good. Always remember that. 100% of the time. Life is good. Even if you have a bad memory, it can always look good on you. It's true. God bless you. God bless America. See you guys later.